Yeah. Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another crypto video. And let's talk about everything that's going on right now. First of all, government action that has the consequence of depriving legitimate businesses their rights to bank accounts is a violation of constitutional due process. Community Financial Services Association of America, FDIC, Federal Reserve, OCC. That's a response to CoinDesk tweeting out a little bit that prospective buyers of Signature Bank will reportedly have to agree to drop all crypto business at the bank. You have to understand, and I really want to make this clear, the attack on crypto has started. We've seen it before with their very strange advances towards Ripple. And also, like I covered yesterday, the SEC was underprepared for the fight against Ripple because they probably just expected them to quickly settle. And a quick settlement is always an easy thing, right? If there's no real repercussions to you suing them, again, from the SEC side, it's just let's try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't. But if it does, then hopefully quickly and hopefully a lot of freaking money. It seems the SEC's attitude has mostly been that, with, again, for some reason, their focus on XRP instead of a lot of other coins that would have been easier, I guess because they just have a lot of money, Ripple. But it's honestly just been crazy that these entities are all of a sudden shifting and using all this banking uncertainty against us in the crypto space. Again, I keep wondering if Gary Gensler was so well connected to FTX, CEO, FTX, all those guys at FTX, how come they didn't notice all this sketchy stuff? For example, Sam Bankman-Fried received $2.2 billion from FTX while CEO, court filings reveal. How come that all was not made public? Or rather, was not gone through a proper investigation, when in reality, this is also quite close to crypto, right? A crypto exchange. Why did he, if he had such close connections, we all know Gary Gensler and Sammy were meeting quite often, why didn't that fall through the radar when, again, Gary was meeting with Ripple a lot too, and he decided to slap them at every chance that he got? Now, I just have to add as well, it's not as if the SEC always gets their way. In the Voyager bankruptcy case, Judge Wiles has denied the SEC's motion for stay pending appeal, and check out the language on page 4, where the government during the confirmation hearing has not actually contended that any of these activities would be illegal. I cited some decisions on this point when I announced my original decision in open court. And when I issued my final decision, I cited additional Second Circuit and other authorities that are directly on point. The debtors have cited many additional authorities in the memorandum they filed today. The government contends that it will likely win on appeal, but in making its argument, the government has not even discussed any of the authorities that I cited or the actual theory on which I relied. Instead, the government's papers exaggerate and in some place mischaracterize what I have done and the authorities on which I have relied, and in other instances rely on hyperbole or on straw man arguments. And like a couple of lawyers have been stating, the SEC here has been slapped on the face a couple of times over the last couple of months, and it's kind of going unnoticed because a lot of it is not happening in the Ripple case as well. In the Ripple case, we've seen it a couple times with the judge by, for example, stating out a lot of the BS of this double-sided arguments the SEC has been attempting, but here we're seeing it in even more clear daylight. Apparently, pages 13, 14, and 16 are also good. In my opinion, this judge slapped the SEC around even harder than Judge Netburn, which was very nice. Judge Wiles accused the SEC further that their argument is based on a false analogy and false label. And again, these arguments are sheer hyperbole, or is it hyperbole? A question might arise, which is, how many times does the SEC defy the courts and do some crazy stuff before, again, somebody's going to step up? That I do not know. What I must, again, however, confirm is that there might be a little bit of a shift. For example, the SEC chair Gensler suggests Ethereum might be a security, or rather, what happened quite recently here is that he labeled every proof of stake crypto as a security. Yet, when we're starting to look into things, it is funny how different the crypto space and most players inside of it are replying to all this, or rather how they've been treating things. I'm going to say I'm pretty happy with Coinbase and the fact that they were back in Ripple as an amnesty in the court, basically. But you can be quite unhappy with the fact that they were so quick to delist and so easy in the fight initially. Now, that's the crux of the matter, Paul Grewal. You guys do not treat all tokens the same, even though in the video he says they do. Brian Armstrong had .eth in his Twitter handle until recently, for crying out loud. You delisted XRP the second the SEC suit drops. You don't drop ETH after some after some ETH-based tokens are called out. Because again, Gary Gensler just recently here said, every single proof of stake crypto is probably a security. And that's kind of what's going on in the background. And again, if we look back, he's also stated multiple times that everything other than Bitcoin is a security. This man, in my opinion, should either not be the head of the SEC or should be at the head of the SEC, but just focus on their own area and not on cryptocurrencies, as it just mostly does not fall under their scope, but they're trying to capture and encompass it all, even though for the most part, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And again, it's also a fight internally on a governmental level, where, for example, the CFTC, the Commission Future and Trading Commission, Commodities Futures and Trading Commission, is actually also trying to grab crypto, basically, but they have a different approach by, as it states right here, insisting that Ether is actually a commodity rather than a security, like claimed by the SEC chairman. All right, guys, but before we move on, we have a sponsor for today's video that is called Swiss Cheese. And no, I'm not talking about the actual cheese. It's a crypto project. Anyway, they have a very interesting purpose, and right now they're going for a sale. But what they're trying to become is the world's first ever decentralized stock exchange. They say it on their website saying, we are developing radically futuristic, user-friendly, multi-chain stock and crypto products on top of a robust decentralized exchange called Swiss Cheese. Now, one of the difficult parts about their mission is that it's a very broad one. And it's a huge one. I mean, we all agree, I don't think there's going to be anybody that disagrees, that getting these tokenized stocks in a decentralized manner is just absolutely crazy market, and I think everybody would just go wild for it. And for that reason, I invested a little bit of money of my own as well. But again, please understand that this little section here is sponsored, because the big question is exactly how does this work regulation-wise? I still do not fully understand, and I've been reading a lot into them, guys. Again, I try my best to always look for cool and new innovative things, and that's why I'm also doing a panel with them in a couple of days from now, just discussing more about what they do, what they're about, and of course, discuss the decentralized ecosystem for a little bit. I think that would also be interesting. But anyway, right now they're having their sale round, which you can find right here over on their website. Obviously, it is on Polygon, as you've probably already seen from the top right here. And again, make sure that you're in the proper jurisdiction if you're participating in sales of this sort, as it's not allowed in every single country. But what I've noticed is over the past, history has showcased that these sales are very good opportunities to make tons of profit, but on the opposite side, they are extremely risky. There's a very high likelihood that the project you invest in will go to absolutely zero, even if the product idea is amazing. And that's again another case right here where the idea is amazing. It's just awesome. I mean, you can go left, you can go right. But if they really manage to become the world's first decentralized stock exchange, the potential for the token is limitless. But that's the big thing. How exactly do you get that done? And again, hopefully we're going to uncover more of that in our panel, because it's a huge mission and I really hope they can do it. And again, I honestly think that right now XRP as a crypto is not doing too amazing, mostly because in a situation like this, where banks are on the verge of collapse and doing really bad, you have a crypto that works a lot inside this system. Pump said, if you think Bitcoin went on a tier 1 CNBC and institutional investors learned about it, just wait till they discover XRP, or rather, this crypto that can integrate into the system for the most part and make this current system a whole lot better. It has its downside, which is that if the current system completely collapses, which right now it's kind of happening, it's not on the best of positions, right? Bitcoin has a better pivot for this quote-unquote decentralized, because decentralization is a concept that's really hard to grasp in reality. It's easy in concept, hard in reality, because what is truly decentralized, right? But yeah, Bitcoin just has a really good advantage when banks completely collapse. And Ripple had that exposure to Silicon Valley Bank. And well, if all banks crash, then Ripple's tech becomes a little bit less useful. I still think XRP is going to be amazing, but I have stopped buying as much as I used to. And the main reason for that is this case might drag on for who knows exactly how long. And so for that reason, I'm like, well, if the bull run right now is here, it might be best to stock up on a lot of other cryptos as well that I love, because I think I've also just got enough XRP. You can never have enough, but I want to diversify even more. And so I've been buying a lot of XDC, HBAR, QNT, and a lot of coins that I cover on the channel, very often. But I'll get you guys a video on that very shortly, just like my top 5 cryptos or so that I'm buying right now. So yeah, stay tuned for that in a couple days, maybe tomorrow. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel, guys.